Awesome. Here we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of SJG Hand Review. This is episode 4. And we are with Jay Dizzler, Palace, and myself, Set Spike. But we're going to switch it up this time. Palace this time is going to host. He has picked 5 hands for us to review. And J2 and I are going to do the review, as neither of us know what these hands are. So looking forward to it. So Palace, you're up.
All righty. So one program note before we get started. If any of you are interested in being in one of these hand review videos, please let Jason or Jason know, and they will make it happen. So you're certainly welcome. Yeah,
we've definitely got some requests from the SJG community to participate, and so we will absolutely have some more guests in future episodes. So looking forward to it.
Sounds good. All right, let's jump in. So I'm just going to get right into the first hand here, and we've got only 4 players in this hand, and we'll get through the pre-flop stuff here. And to be honest, the pre-flop's pretty boring, but we did have one raise. And so we've got a pot of $12 heading into the flop. Flop comes 10-2-9 with 2 diamonds. And No Leaks starts out with an $8 bet. And then things get interesting, as Yeah Buddy takes it up to $36. So here's probably a good place to pause and ask our analysts what's going on.
JT, you want to start?
Yeah. Okay. So it was Len. So Yeah Buddy limped in. Was that Pete? PM?
Yep.
Pete? Yeah, Pete completed. And then Len decided to option raise. So he's taking the lead in the hand. So No Leaks is saying he has a decent pre-flop hand, right? And then Merv calls. So Merv is pretty capped to middling cards, right? He has a lot of Jack Queen, Jack 10 type hands, and also pairs. Probably doesn't have 10s or 9s because he would probably raise that pre-flop. So I think the top of Merv's range would be pocket deuces. So this is, when was this? It was a long time ago.
Early August.
Early August. Okay, so this is around the time where Merv was raising top pairs more often. So I think Merv could have a lot of just 10s here. Len could still have anything. I don't think Len has pretty defined his hand much at all.
Yeah, I look at this hand and I see Len, with a small pre-flop bump up. So I'm thinking maybe he has jacks here, especially since he let out on a 10-9-2 board here, leading out for 8, hoping just to take it down without with 2 diamonds on the board. Merv here, Yeah Buddy, going straight to 36. He could be getting cute, maybe with 2 diamonds, 2 over diamonds, especially maybe if it's especially if he has, let's say, Queen Jack of diamonds. That could be a reason for that raise. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I definitely pocket 2s are definitely in the range as well. So pretty interesting so far.
Yeah, and this is higher stakes than usual, right? This is 50 cent $1.
Yeah,
and there is a dynamic here in that Len and Merv like to try to outplay each other specifically.
Yeah, very true. And also everyone's pretty much deep stacked at this point, at least, $100, $170, $150 everyone's for everyone to start. So everyone's playing pretty deep here. And with only 4 players, this is definitely a late night hand as well, since there's only 4 players. And so it's definitely kind of interesting. But the Pete call, now that
look at that cold call from out of position. That is alarm bells, right?
That to me now, Pete could now be sitting with pocket 10s, pocket 9s. That's a really interesting just a call. I'm thinking maybe with pocket 10s, he probably would have just tried to take it down at this point, not wanting another diamond to come up on the board. But he could also have 2 diamonds as well now at this point. So this is a really interesting hand.
Yeah,
So,
okay. I can't put him on tens or nines because remember he just flatted pre-flop and then he
Yeah,
flatted
yeah.
again. So he can, I think the top of his range would be 10-9. Because he that's definitely a hand you could be playing that with. Pocket
Yep.
deuces and any of the draws. I don't have a lot of notes on Pete. But if this is just a random player on the internet, I would say he's pretty much capped at Jack Queen of Diamonds type hands.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what Len does.
All right. All right. So Len folds.
Len folds.
Okay. So we're heads up and we're headed to the turn. And we get an ace of clubs. And PMPPK is first to act and puts in a big bet.
Pretty much a shove, or not shove. Pretty much I can't remember what he had in his stack behind, but I think that's so pretty much pot size bet.
The bet pot, yeah. All right.
Pot size bet. So maybe he was sitting with ace king, ace queen of diamonds.
It could be ace anything of
Ace
diamonds.
anything really at this
Actually,
point.
I would steer away from the premium aces mainly
Yeah.
because again he flatted. So ace X of diamonds mainly like ace lower diamonds, or if he plays like J2 still could have the set here.
Yeah.
Like J1, sorry, Jason Pasquale. Jason likes to just flat with the set and then lead out turn. So he could still have it set in this. So it'd be interesting to see how Merv's responds to this.
Yeah.
Well, let's see that then. So
Merv shoves.
Yep.
Merv shoves. He goes all in for the rest
Merv
of
shoves and just to remove the drama, obviously that's a $20 call that's going to be made. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So now we'll pause it. So do you want to talk or you want to see it?
I think I've had all the discussion I can have.
Yeah. I think I still think Merv's on a draw here. Combo draw. So and I think Pete's got ace something.
Of diamonds.
That's my guess at this time.
Yeah, I mean Pete could have ace 10, I guess. But their ranges are. I mean, it's shorthanded. Anybody could have ace X of diamonds. Anybody could have a set. Anybody could have combos of 2 pair here. Just sounds like it just seems like we have a super action flop and neither of them can get away from it.
Yeah.
All right. So river comes a 7.
There's a 2 pair.
Yeah, there's 2 pair. There's 2 pair, and there's
the combo draw.
There's
Yeah.
the combo draw.
Pretty good. Pretty good reads.
Nice hand, Merv. Big pot. Merv.
Actually, Merv had an interesting hand. So he had top 2 and then actually gained equity with the ace of clubs.
Absolute
So-
monster.
So yeah, so yeah, very, very interesting hand. So yeah, nice hand from Merv there.
Queen 8 of diamonds. Okay, because he had the straight flush draw.
I guess that's the question I had, J2, is the $91 bet on the turn.
Yeah. So if Pete thinks Merv is doing this with a top pair type hand on the flop, he probably thinks that ace probably couldn't have hit him because pre-flop he probably raises with most of his ace X hands on the button. So if I were in Pete's spot and I think, okay, if Merv has Jack 10, Queen 10, King 10, this is a great spot to put in my fold equity, right? I have a ton of fold equity against any 10.
Yeah.
It just happens to be running up against 2 pair plus type hand.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
All right.
super interesting. Super interesting.
Yeah, good hand.
Okay.
Batman agrees. Look at this.
Oh, look at that. So this is a hand.
Nice.
This is a hand that both J2 and I are both in. So this will be interesting. Way back in the day.
I usually
from,
just fold. So
from July 28th. All right.
Okay, so let's we got a lot of players here. We got 8 at this table, and we'll get around here. Actually, we have 9.
Yeah, there's a full table here.
Yeah,
We
so
only have
it's a
9
full table.
seats at our table. So
And
Right,
so pretty straightforward here. We don't spend much time, but there was it looks like the raise by DZ Nuts, right? And okay, so
call from
then we-
Brendan and a call from Ozzy. Okay.
and then we get a flop that's less than attractive.
Yeah.
Okay. And we get our first bet of 2/3 pot. All right, let's go one more and we can pause here. Okay, so bet and raise.
okay. So
So-
DQ
okay.
limp called, right?
Yep.
Diz C bet, Brendan with the min raise now. Now, min raises generally could be interpreted two ways, right? Absolute monster. If I min raise, I usually have a monster. I'll just put it out there. But it typically in SJG, we've noticed that min raises tend to be, I have top pair, is it good? Type raise, let me see if
Yep.
my top pair is good and I'm going to invest as
the
little as
feeler min
possible.
raise. Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
So we get a fold and we get a re-raise.
So we get a fold and a re-raise. So, so now you think D has to have a big overpair. So queens here, maybe jacks. He's got trips, but with Brendan, or maybe even nines for Diz with just the 250 raise pre-flop. So maybe he's hit a set. Brendan's a pretty aggressive player, especially on the button. So I would probably put him at ace jack at this point, maybe even king jack.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on how Brendan responds to this re-raise. I mean, Diz is C betting, right? So he's still keeping his range pretty open. And now Diz is playing back. That said, we've seen Diz kind of do this with ace king type of hands, trying to just blow people off.
Yeah.
Like someone is saying, hey, is my jack good? And Diz is saying, no, it's not, kind of thing. There's a lot of communication going on between these bets, it seems like.
Yeah.
All right. So the communication continues.
Okay.
So Brendan effectively shoves. And so, but again, I think Brendan's a pretty aggressive player. So I don't think he has jacks, because I think it would have been a bigger raise pre-flops. So I'm still going to put him on ace jack. Outside shot, he's got pocket fives, but that's where I'm kind of thinking. I don't know about you, J2.
Okay, so I think, we know Brendan cannot have an overpair here. I think we can safely say he doesn't have an overpair because queens plus 3 bets. Ace jack probably on the bottom of his range now that he puts in that 4th bet. He actually has all the sets in his range, right? He could have cold called with 5s, jacks, or 9s.
Yep.
Diz is overpair plus.
Yeah.
He probably he opens with 5s, jacks, and 9s too. He can have all the sets as well. Diz also plays hands like queen 10 this way as well, like queen 10 of spades.
Yeah,
Especially
that's interesting.
back then, he used to overbet his gambling hands. So,
but he's definitely calling for another 30.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's
whatever he's already said with that $26 bet. I'm never folding.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, that's not fair, because if he folded, we wouldn't get to see the hand.
Well, that's true. That is true, because we only look at showdown hand. So we already know that everyone's calling.
All right, so there's our call, and we get a run out that's equally unattractive.
Yep.
It's miss.
So let's see what they have.
There it is. He had the sets over. There's the overpair. Yeah.
Yeah. See, 5s. Yep.
So my question is, I think I might be the only one here that might say this, but I think after, I think I fold aces in this spot. I know it's hard to say, but once Brendan puts in that re-raise, what are you beating?
I had the same feeling.
I think this is one that the only spots, if there was 2 hearts on board, or the board was a little more wet, Brendan is saying his range gets narrower and narrower with each communication, right? With his first raise, it could be a jack, and then with his other raise, now he's saying he has 2 pair plus. I think you can safely fold aces in that spot.
Well, could you really? I mean, the amount of money that's in the pot at that point. So it was only, it's effectively just another bet that D has already put in. So he's already put in 26. Brendan shoves, and it's effectively just it's almost a min click, a min raise bet.
Yeah, can you go back a few streets, Scott? real quick? Like, let's see the actual betting numbers. Okay, 550 raised to 11. Okay, so here, I'm okay with, no, actually, I like that size. Okay, so, and then he clicks it back. So it's 30 to call for a $90 pot. It's gonna end up being about 120. So he has to be 3 to 120. So he's got to be good here 1 out of 4 times, right?
The odds are right there on the screen.
It's not
Okay,
an odds thing. I go back
25%.
to what are you
Okay, yeah.
beating?
I don't think you're good 25% of the time here. I really don't. Against
I had to think, but against Brendan, I'm making this call.
okay. Against me and Merv, you're folding, right?
Probably, yes.
Okay. Against Scott, you're folding, right?
Against Scott, I'm folding. But
I
against
think-
Brendan, who I think, likes to play aggressive. So I still think he's got, if I'm D, I'm ace jack, king jack. Yeah.
Those are effectively bluffs if he's doing it with king jack and ace jack, though he's trying to get you to fold. I think we call Len here. And I think we call Mayo. And I think we call Buster. Even though, because Buster's super good, I think Buster can effectively turn queen 10 here and make it look like a set.
Yeah.
And set spike. You call set spike here any day. Like, I can't get my chips in fast enough with aces against set spike. It's a maniac.
This was an interesting hand, but I
like it. But I fold
think,
ace. I honestly fold aces against Brendan here.
I think I'm in the same boat that D was. I think I would have lost the other.
I mean, it's not a huge mistake. You're getting 4 to 1.
Yeah.
3 to 1. So
yeah.
All right, let's hit hand number 3 here.
All
and
right.
every hand is cool.
So Sat Spike, you're in this one. So if you remember it, you have to be quiet. And if you don't,
Okay.
you can wait till, I'll let you use your judgment on
Let's
this
see. August 6th. Definitely not going to remember this hand.
Yeah, right, Jay. You remember everything.
All
Jay
right.
remembers all his hand histories.
Okay, so not all hands have to be interesting pre-flop, and this one isn't. So,
Yeah, a limped pot is interesting in its own right.
so it is a limped pot. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so we get king 6-7, 2 diamonds.
Well, can you pause here for a second? Because the important thing to know is that Simone has got a huge stack of 300, and the rest of us are pretty much 100 and lower. So he's pretty much got a huge chip advantage here that he can exploit just because of his stack. But yeah, okay, let's go.
That's fair. Good point. All right, so he exploits it with a pot-sized bet of $2, and
Yep. leads out. Sadesh folds, and then Merv comes in with a raise. Okay.
Okay, and
I call.
Smooth call, Jay. Do you remember what you have now, Jay?
No, I cannot remember this hand whatsoever. So if we're going to start predicting hands at this point, and Simone called, so
This is gonna be funny when you get your own hand wrong, Jay.
yeah, I
It's
know.
gonna
This
be
is gonna be
hilarious.
hilarious. I get my own hand wrong. Maybe I should just stay quiet, but no.
I mean, there's not a ton to go on, right?
No, not a ton to go on right now, but I would definitely put Simone with Simone. To me, Simone's polarized here. It's like he's either got 2 diamonds or he's got a king.
That's true. I think yeah. Simone leads with all of his strong hands here, right? Any 2 pair.
And it could be a combo draw. So Simone for some reason is uncanny at catching like 5-8 here and having 6-7.
Yeah, you have a really good point that he's the big stack here, right? He probably feels pretty good. He's invincible, right? And Merv has 50, so it's highly likely he actually got it off Merv, or somebody who left.
Yeah.
But it's a limped pot, so anybody really could have anything. J1 smooth calling here puts Jay on a pretty strong hand or a strong draw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm probably sitting with 2 diamonds, and yeah, that's
like you're not just calling there with king 9, right?
I'm never just calling there with king. I would have tested to see where everyone's at, and the only time I probably would have called it, no, actually I would have any king I probably would have tested to see where people are at. So I personally,
when Simone leads out and Merv personally raises, I think you have to fold any king that you have here. Just any single pair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah. I can't continue here with you.
I think Simone's on a combo draw, and he's trying to build a pot. Is what I'm saying.
I'm folding king queen here on the button personally.
Interesting. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
All right, let's
Okay.
keep going.
Yeah.
All right, so the turn brings a queen.
Well, I would have made a
See,
mistake.
now
then.
you would have missed out on top two. If you had
or lose a bunch of money to Merv's set, right?
All right, so what do we have Merv on here? He just bet pot.
Since it was a limp pot, I still think Merv sitting at two pair, king six, king seven, maybe even 6-7. And that's where I had to put Merv on, especially with the raise, the 3x raise, and then now it looks like he's just trying to take it down because we've now got two draws on the board, both for pretty wet board for clubs as well as a draw for both 6-7. And I think he's trying to take it down. So I think he's either got a pretty strong king or he's sitting at two pair, king six, king seven.
I think he's at 2-player plus for sure. When Merv is betting like this, he's like, please don't draw out on me, right?
Right.
Merv hates to be drawn out on.
So do I.
Well, I like to extract value. Like, for example, if I had a set of sevens here, I'm betting about 12.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to get value. And I know that creates variance. But I personally don't like, I don't know. If you think they're going to call 20, then yeah. But
Well,
I'm not betting 20 to get people to fold.
If
That's
Merv, I agree with you. I mean, if Merv's sitting with a set of sevens, I'd want to keep all the two diamonds in and two clubs in to draw. So
Yeah, we just want to give them the wrong price,
and
right?
build some equity. Yeah. So, but we want to give them a tough price in order to make that call. And so, I don't necessarily know what I would have put a pot size bet in, but I think I would have put somewhere around like 15.
So gun to my head, king 7 of spades for Merv, or he made king queen right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put him on king 7, king 6. That's what I'm going to put him on.
Because most 6s and 7s, especially shorthanded, are going to raise a little bit pre-flop, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's get some more answers on the board here.
Oh shit.
Let's see what Jay does in this hand. Jay, are you going to put a terrible beat on Merv? Is that what's going to happen?
I have no idea. Now I really believe I have two diamonds.
So the $20 was not too much, and you still want to see the flush.
Yep.
I mean, you could probably have Jack 10 of diamonds and you're getting the correct price, right? You have a lot of outs with Jack 10 of diamonds.
All right, let's keep going here.
Yeah, Jack 10 of diamonds.
So we get a 9, but not a diamond.
Yeah.
And Merv bets 30.
Well, obviously I call since all these hands go to showdown. And so
Or raise.
No,
So-
he shoved. He shoved at that point.
He shoves,
Oh, he
and
shoved.
you call, or I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to show it. But we
No.
figure he's got 2 pair.
2-pair plus. Generally no sets though. He can't have kings.
Okay, so J2, what sets Mike calling with then?
I have no idea. To be honest.
God. Sets Spike could have king X of diamonds. He could have king 9 of diamonds. And he has to call now. But I mean, Jack 10 of diamonds makes a ton of sense too.
So I am going to predict I lose this hand because Scott picked the hands.
That's what good friends do to each other, right?
Nonsense. All right. So, but you already know that you call, so you do.
Oh,
Oh, look at that. I had the combo draw top pair.
wow. Mervin. Okay. I think Merv was a little on tilt this hand. He had to be.
But Jason, I'm curious, Set Spike. It's an interesting call on the river, right? Right. You kind of have in our talking, you have him on 2 pair the entire time.
Yeah.
So let's assume you did then as well.
Yeah, I mean, the analysis I'm doing now just shows that I obviously was not playing well back in. 'Cause I could not, the analysis I'm doing
okay,
now
here's
tells
my,
me that
I have a different take.
I was really stupid back then.
No, I have a different take, man. I think, look, Chris is up 300. Merv only had 50. You know, there's a good chance Merv was stuck a bunch right now. And J1 is sensing that, right? And so he's just like, I'm going to let Merv blast off because Merv is solid all the time, right?
Yeah.
But if he's losing, there's a chance that J1's just like, I'm just going to keep looking him up for a while, you know, and that's a good way to play against someone who's having a losing session. That's why I quit after I'm down 100, right? Because everyone's just going to take advantage of me.
You know, the unfortunate thing the software doesn't show is how long people tanked in between, you know, on each bet and each streak here. And
Yeah, you didn't snap call him. I don't think you would have.
Unfortunately, I can't replicate that on these hand replays, because that would have been interesting to see the time it took, you know, each for both Merv and myself to make these to make the bet and calls. But yeah, I put Merv.
I think that's interesting because Merv never plays it like that ever.
Yeah. So I put Merv on 2 pair, and for some reason, whatever analysis was going on in my head back in July or in August, I did not analyze the hand in the same way. So,
I mean, there's also another aspect. You said it's late at night, probably, right?
Four-handed. Well, yeah, four-handed with big stacks. So this is definitely late at night.
And you and Merv both could be losing, and you're just like, I'm in no mood to fold a king here.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So
all the interesting hands are late at night, for the record.
Sucks. I go to bed at 11. All right.
All right. Let's hit the next hand here. We've got.
So let's also notice it's 8-12. It just went from, and this is the midnight hand. This is something we should keep track of going forward. This is a midnight hand right here with an almost full table. All right.
Nice. All right. So let's see here. This is 420. Okay. So we're cruising along here, and we have a fold and a call and a raise to 350 and a call and another call, and this pot's going to be good. And then Merv is like 1750. All right. So we see this from time to time, and we'll go around the table here, and he does catch a call. So we have 2 players going to the flop.
So this is interesting because, you know, when Merv, I think we all know when Merv makes a large 5x, 6x bet, he loves to do this with aces and kings. For some reason, Merv does not like to play aces and kings post flop. He would rather just win a small pot right at the beginning versus having to see aces or kings get
which I just do not understand.
which again, I mean, that's his style, and it's
made him a pretty penny against people who still look him up for no reason, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I've folded in the past, and Merv, just so you know, I've folded tens in this spot where I've raised to 4, and then, you know, when Merv comes in with like a 16 or, you know, anywhere from a 12 to a $16 bet, and I've folded tens, and
I auto fold jacks like instantly. It's not even close.
I mean, there was a time earlier in the year, or earlier last year now, that, you know, I was calling him because I didn't, you know, again, wasn't sure what he was doing, and I did catch a set of 7s twice against him. But pretty much ever since then, I've pretty much folded everything unless I've got kings or aces along with him. You know, I would probably even fold queens to Merv's pre-flop bet of like 5 or 6x. So we'll see.
Wait till he adjusts, man. If he starts doing that with 7-5 suited, we're in trouble.
If you make a large pre-flop bet, are there specific callers you don't want to see?
You don't want Buster in position, that's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to have Buster in position. Well, you know, Buster in position, you just don't want that. That's just one of the things you don't want, period, no matter what.
My man,
what I'm thinking. I make this bet, there's 7 players active. I'm like, oh, did it have to be Buster that called?
Yeah.
All right. So flop comes really teeny.
Okay. That's Paul.
I went a little bit too far there. So,
that's all right.
Oh, Marvin.
I spoiled the fact Buster calls, but what does Merv have now?
Merv definitely has aces or kings. It's the only thing he can do.
He has to have an overpair for sure. And Buster is like I have a set. I mean,
Well,
or
I
4-6 suited.
4-6 suited. That's gross. He called 4-6 suited pre-flop 17.
Dude, Buster, when he gets position, he's just like, I know what you have. So if I hit the flop, I'm gonna just get paid. That's just how Buster plays sometimes. Because his hand reading is so good that he can call with like 4-6 of clubs here and just like
Well, I
make
mean,
money.
he's got to have something good because he can't bluff at it. Merv's
Yeah.
all in, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we can run the rest of this one out because the flop is uninteresting.
Yeah.
And greens are good, right? I think for me, in looking this hand, like you don't have to bet all 70 bucks there, right? Or 90 bucks. What was that bet?
Yeah, that was 70 into 40.
Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you learn just as much with 30?
Yeah, I
40?
actually like a half pot bet here. You know, you can get value from like pocket fours, you know, or you can get value from someone who wants to look you up with like ace jack of diamonds. They just want to continue. You know, you get a lot of value from betting half pot here.
Yeah, because
betting 73 allows Buster to just play perfect. Okay, if I hit the flop, I'll fold, I'll call, and if I don't, I'll just fold, right? You don't
And
want
you don't know yet.
Yeah. You don't want to put your opponent in situations where they can play perfect. And that's what this is.
yeah, Merv here, you know, with his $70 bet, he's basically saying I'm only beating ace king, ace queen here. And, you know, if Buster has aces or kings, I mean, they're aces, kings, fives, threes, twos. That's the only thing that's going to beat Merv at this point. And aces, kings, 5, 3, 2s. And so he's basically saying if you don't have one of 5 hands, you're going to have to fold this. And I'm taking my shot at it. And the problem is if he does a half pot bet, if he does a half pot bet and Buster is definitely going to raise.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to put him all in at this point. What do you do?
See, that's the big difference. If Buster's the one raising, then Buster can still be doing this with 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, right?
Right.
If you bet 70 into 40, he's only calling you with the hands that you listed, aces or a set, right?
Right. I think Merv's saying is like, I'm going to get my money in regardless. This
Might as well throw it in with authority.
And
yeah,
so
Daniel Negreanu used to do that stuff back in like 2007 before he learned more of the GTO style of playing. But yeah, that's pretty brutal. Merv still wins a lot just because he's really good at picking his spots pre-flop. You know, that just shows you how strong picking pre-flop hands and position is that Merv still does a really good job winning. So
I think this hand plays out the same way regardless of what Merv bets.
Do you make
with the actual hands?
Yeah.
But if you played a different way, you're keeping a wider range of Buster's hands in, which you want.
Yeah.
No.
So if we go back here, are you making this call?
With pocket fives?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to.
What was Buster's stack before? Can you go back and what was Buster's stack?
Oh, he had a lot. He had a big stack, right?
Yeah. But he has Merv covered. When Merv makes that bet and he has 73 behind, you're gonna want to have a 10x implied odds, right? If he has to call 14, then Merv has to have 140 behind in order for that call to be profitable. It's actually supposedly a long-term losing play to call with fives in that spot against someone you know who has queens, kings, or aces.
Yeah, I think Buster does this because he's got a pocket pair and he's in position on Merv. I don't think he's worried about implied odds at this point. So.
Yeah, I'd love to know what Buster thinks, and we need him on the show.
Yeah, we need a Buster. I'm
watching that one.
Yeah,
a Buster visit to the SJG hand review.
Dude, he's so like high level strategy. He's gonna just throw opposite strategy on purpose on the video to confuse us. Like, I raised because I rolled the dice at home and it came up, 17. I rolled the 20 double damage, so that means I double raised. Sorry.
All right, last one. We got a full table here. This is the earliest hand. It was only 10 o'clock for this hand.
August 3rd. All right.
Let's get it out here.
That's
Get out of Bruce
Tuesday.
and a TJ sighting, though. TJ does what he normally does.
You just wanted to get that in there.
Hi, TJ.
Okay, so pretty uneventful there. That's fine. So we get a rainbow flop, a couple of checks, small bet.
I'm sorry, did anybody raise pre-flop or was it?
There was one raised to $2. We can go back.
So this is 50 cent, $1, right? And
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
took
it
the
looked like
lead?
Ozzy did a min raise to 2
Yep.
from the hijack.
Yeah. Okay. So we're still pretty uneventful here. We're building a pot very slowly, but we have 3 players.
Okay.
And now we get a 6.
Super dry board, by the way,
Super dry board.
on the
Yeah.
flop.
Okay, so here we get
I mean, Ozzy going in half pot here after leading out with half pot. No, with 1/3 pot after the flop.
so he's leading, right? He pre-flop raised to 2.
Yeah, so
And then
Queen X is the only thing I can think of. The only thing I can think of what people's hands are at this point for Ozzy. I just have no idea what Merv and Bruce could have at this point. Since
Yeah, people should not have 2 pair on that flop, right? They'd have to have,
Yeah.
I mean, Simone would have to do 7, but Queen 7, Queen deuce, right? Those shouldn't be in their ranges. So yeah, Queen X hands, a lot of people peel off with any 7 on the flop too, a lot of the time. So 7-6, if someone starts giving action, 7-6 is clear, it could be in their range.
okay.
He can have the sets. Merv can have the sets here.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
7-6. Ooh, 100. Let's go, DQ. I'm gonna
Oh,
make it 100.
now I'm thinking we have set over set here with 2s and 7s. I think this is a pretty gross. I think this is going to be a pretty gross set over set hand.
Yeah, so Merv can have deuces, 7s, or 6s, right? He could have peeled off on the flop with a pair of 6s, maybe a small percentage of the time. DQ could actually have queens here too.
Yeah.
Or he could be overplaying. You think DQ ever overplays kings or aces this way?
Well, the only thing that Ozzy could do here is if he's got ace queen and he thinks Merv's got king queen, and
Right.
but I think if he does, I think that's an overplay with top here. And if I had ace queen, I'm probably just calling Merv's raise to 23 here. So I still think it's set over set at this point.
Right, because on the turn, you generally, with 1 pair of hands, even over pairs and top pair hands, you want to try to keep the pot smaller as possible. Yeah, there's just no draws on the flop that makes me think raising here that big is the right play.
Yeah, besides set over set, right?
Set over set is so common in this spot, or set over pair. But Merv also could have 7-6.
So Merv calls, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Yep.
So there's the call, and I think that puts him all in. So we can see that the river's not particularly interesting.
Nope. There's a set.
There's a set. And here's the other set.
No, overpair. Overplayed the overpair.
The overpair. Oh.
And
Okay.
and I think that was probably why I included this video. Like, you can't do that there, right?
You really can't.
If you're Aussie, you make the call. You make the call on that
On the turn.
on the turn.
I played almost exactly the same. I mean, I raised a little more pre-flop. I probably make it $2 instead of, no, wait, he made it 2. I probably make it $3. I c-bet 1/3 on the flop, c-bet 1/2, just call Merv on the turn. On the river, yeah, I'll probably call whatever Merv bets. But I probably won't boost it up, I think.
Yeah, I think you're check calling if you're Oz on the river. If if you call the turn and then whatever Merv bets out on the river, I think you call that, but yeah.
There were similarities between this and an earlier hand, but
That's
you
what I was
make a
gonna
bet,
say.
you get raised. It's back to this, what am I beating question, right?
Yeah, that's there's a juxtaposition between this and Merv was in both, right? Because DQ min clicked it pre-flop versus Merv's 30x raise or whatever he did, and they both ran into sets. And I think DQ's mistake's actually bigger in this sense because DQ could have probably lost much less on this one. Merv already had the stack to pot ratio on that other hand. Buster's not really supposed to have sets there, but that's the only thing that's calling you with that bet anyway. But
you had to figure, we didn't talk about that. When Buster makes a call and then the flop comes 2, 3, 5, you got to figure you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah. That's that I prefer betting small and then calling off rather than just shoving all in,
Yeah.
But Jay's right. Merv's going to lose that hand regardless.
Right. Because I think in that last hand, I think Merv was going to be, even if he did like 1/3 or.
Oh, you're back here.
Pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he does 1/3 pot on the flop, I think Buster shoves all in. And then
and I'm calling too. I'm losing as much as Merv is on that. I'm just losing it.
I'm still calling. I'm still in Merv's position. I'm calling with my queens. How can you not? Because at that point, Buster could have anywhere from sixes.
We've seen Buster play jacks like this. In fact.
Yeah.
But but over shoving, I guess, makes it easy, quicker for everyone to move on to the next hand. I'd rather bet half and let Buster shove with a wider range than rather him call with a tighter range. That's my thought. Anyway. But I'm never folding it queens to Buster there ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't be folding queens, but yeah, again, this hand I think Ozzy could have lost less is the only lesson here that I think we could have. He didn't have to shove the 100 on the $26 raise. He could have called, and I think Merv would have bet for some value. Merv would have bet for some value on the river, and I'm still calling if I were Ozzy, and I just would have lost less.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a part of me that folds the river sometimes against Merv.
If he made a big bet on the river in this situation, you have just
any bet.
I can hear that.
Just I don't. He could be doing with queen king, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could be doing with king queens, and so it's like I'd have to, depending on what the bet size is. Now, if he shoved the river, then yes, I'm definitely I have to fold my aces there.
Yeah. I think maybe fold 5% of the time. 95% of the time, I'm calling with aces there.
Yeah, I agree.
I think one comment we have to make here is that, for all the time someone makes a good bluff and gets it through, we actually don't get to show any of those hands.
Right.
And so it's unbalanced in a way, right? Because if we were showing that, it would paint a different picture, or at least a more fair representation.
I think that's a good point. I mean, I think the one thing we can do, because the replay software will allow it. So anyone on SJG who is watching this, and if you think you made a great play with a bluff and you would like the hand reviewed, just know we can absolutely do that. And all of the hands, we can play with the hands face up. And,
or just do any hand Roulette bluffs, right? Because he'll show you.
But it has to be the person that folded to the bluff that you have to get right.
Yeah. I mean, we have to make sure that, again, I mean, it's like we'd have to get permission to show the hand. And I think that's the
or there are times where they're like, I'm folding this, and they show it face up and they muck it. And then that person's like, and we also have to trust the person that I was bluffing him, and he actually had a set or something.
I looked for ones that people show, but not many people do.
Yeah, I don't like showing bluffs. My mom thinks it's bad luck.
Well, no, I'm like, sometimes people turn it over on the fold.
Oh, right.
Right. So like someone makes a big bet and you're like, well, I had this, I'm letting you have it. But there weren't any of those that led to hands that could show.
Yeah. I
That
think
would be interesting
I think
if we could get
Stig
some of
still
those.
needs to reconfigure his client so it actually gives him the option. He just never shows regardless. What's going on, dude?
That's way too long. We all have the option.
He doesn't even know that option exists because he hasn't enabled it yet.
Watch this video and enable it.
All righty. That was awesome.
That was great.
Good hands.
think-
Good hands, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate that, man.
Sure.
I
it's
think
been
Kevin
fun.
Kane
Thank you
wanted
both.
in on the next video.
So we definitely have a request from Kevin Kane to join the next one. So Kevin, if you're listening, I'll reach out to you and we will schedule a next hand review. And so either J2 or myself, we will pick the hands, and then Kevin, you can review along with the other person who's not going to.
Or we can have Scott again pick the hands and we'll just go through
Or
them
we can have
together.
Scott pick the hands. It's an interesting process to pick the hands because you definitely have to kind of study the hand histories and stuff.
It took longer than I thought it was going to take.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of work, man.
It
I haven't
is.
even tried to do it.
Well, you got, like I said, you have to find interesting showdown hands because again, that's the only thing we do is we only review hands that go to showdown. So because we're not revealing how people play their whole cards unless it actually goes to showdown. So
How about the three of us keep an eye on one bluff we make this week and then make note of that hand, and we'll see if we can make it part of the next show. I mean, I only bluff once a month, but when I do, I'll keep that hand. Yeah.
That's what
I'm only going to do it if I end up bluffing against both of you and you both fold. And then I'm gonna go crazy off in chat and saying, "Ha, this one's getting reviewed."
I get a text from you. I had Jack 10 suited. You know?
Yeah.
Like J1, but it's usually like a $20 potter, but whatever. But it's all in good fun.
All righty, that was fun.
That was
Thanks,
great,
Scott,
guys.
for
Thank
picking
you.
the hands. That was a lot of fun, and we'll get this uploaded as quickly as possible. And Kevin Kane, you're up. You're on deck.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All righty, thanks a lot.
Thank
Take
you.
care, all. Bye bye.